Welcome to Lochhead on Marketing, where we're trying the world's first marketing PodStorm. 30 days of strategies and ideas to help you create the future of your choosing. Hey ho, let's go. Thanks for pressing play. I sure am glad you're here. Welcome to Lochhead on Marketing. I hope you're enjoying our PodStorm. And what we want to talk about on this episode is sort of an aha that we've been having around here of late, which is I think we're living in a cocoon. That is to say, there's before February and there's whatever is going to come after February / coronavirus / C19. And that what it appears that we are in is a great time of transition. And I hear this talk about, oh, well, we're going to open back up the economy, or we're going back to work, or what those things. I don't think we're going back to shit. I think the past is over, and we are at a demarcation point, a cocoon time. But we're in this incredible in-between zone, however you want to think about it. And as a result, in business, I think there's a very good chance we're going to have massive winners and horrible losers. And let's talk about the mindset required to become one of those massive winners. We're sponsored by Oracle NetSuite. They've written this great new guide called The 7 Actions Businesses Need to Take Now. And we all need some action, don't we? To receive your free guide and a free product tour of the world's #1 cloud ERP system, go to netsuite.com/different. That's netsuite.com/different. And the power of data has never been more evident. And my friends at Splunk are the category queens and kings of data to everything. Go to splunk.com/D2E, as in data to everything, and learn how you can turn data into doing. All right. I think what's going on here is that almost every part of the way that we live, play, and work has the potential, the strong potential, to be materially different as a result of C19. I think there are some mega trends that were going on anyway that are being materially accelerated. Maybe the most obvious of which is distance working, working from home, working from anywhere. And it becomes clear now, as certainly some of the major tech companies and others are now starting to say, hey, work from home if you like till the end of the year. Or in the case of some like Twitter and others who've said, hey, you can work from home for the rest of your life working for us. And so that's a simple, clear example of what's going to be different. We all know in other clear examples, the food industry is going to be different, not just restaurants, but there are going to be massive changes in the food supply chain and on and on. And so here's what I would encourage you to do. Think about every major component of the way you live, play, or work, and ask yourself the question, what's likely to be different? You see, there's 2 headsets out there. There's a headset, a strategic mindset of people who say, well, I'm going to bet on the world being the same. And look, there may be some things that are the same. And then there's another headset that says, we think the world's going to be different. And what I'm saying to you is I think there's an acceleration of different. There's an upcoming, Heather and I in Niche Down talked about a niche NATO, an explosion of new innovation, of new categories, of new niches. And I think that's what's going on. And I think many of these things have been accelerated by C19. So the first thing I'd ask you to do is think about what's going to be different. And then ask yourself, what do I want to do about that different? How do we design and dominate our market category in the future, given what we think is going to be different, what we think is going to be different broadly in our space? And I want to introduce you to a concept to help you think this way. Recently, my friend, a guy I've known and done business with for decades, Mike Maples Jr., founder of Floodgate, host of a legendary podcast called Starting Greatness. He wrote an incredible piece called How to Create a Breakthrough. And in that piece, oh, and by the way, he's on episode 163 of Follow Your Different if you want to dig into this with us. But one of the concepts he introduces in this piece that he wrote is this idea called backcasting as distinct from forecasting. And so when most people look to the future, certainly look to the future of business, they forecast what they think is going to happen. Well, most forecasts are built on knowledge, information, and data from the past. And they take what happened in the past and they bring it forward. They forecast it into the future. And in some areas, this is an appropriate thing to do. We all know what a sales forecast is. However, a forecast assumes the present is a continuation, or the future is a continuation of the present. And today, if we're living in a cocoon time, the future is not a continuation of the present, far from it. And so the notion of backcasting that Mike introduces is essentially project yourself into a different future. What do you see? Look around. What do you think might be the case? What do you think might be true in your category, in your industry a year from now, 18 months from now? What do you see if you stand 18 months in the future in your category? What new problems are being solved, or what existing problems are being solved or thought of in new ways? What are the solutions to those problems that are being created? Because, this is something we never learn in the tech industry. Today's solutions are tomorrow's problems. And so if there's a set of new solutions being created now for the new future that's being created, those solutions, whatever they are, will more than likely create a new set of problems. If you take Mike's advice and you backcast, that is to say, you stand in the future, 18 months from now, 24 months from now, 36 months from now, and you look backwards to today, what were the opportunities? What were the problems created or accelerated by C19? And how do we be part of solving them? Most importantly, how do you create the future of your choosing? If you believe what I believe, which is major parts of the way that we live, work, and play are going to change dramatically, how do you be one of the designers of that future as we emerge from this cocoon? And the idea Mike shares with us is to try to envision that future, stand as far out in that future as we can, look backwards, and ask ourselves, what can we and our companies do to create the future of our choosing? Because that's what legendary entrepreneurs and legendary marketers do. All right, we would like to thank my good friends at bottleneck.online. They are the world's first dedicated distant assistant company. You might have heard of a virtual assistant. That's not what you want. Bottleneck believes you want a distant assistant. Learn more at bottleneck.online. My friends at Atranet, atre.net, have been building legendary B2B websites in Silicon Valley for over 20 years. Check them out today. All right, I need to remind you that today's information is provided to you solely for informational purposes, and this oddcast is a sole property of the Lochhead Oddcast Network. Remember to keep your eyes on the road and your hands upon the wheel. And warning, the creators of this oddcast may have been consuming libations. We are produced and edited by living podcast legend Jason DeFilippo. And if you're in the tech business or you love technology, check out his podcast, Grumpy Old Geeks, Technical Awesomeness, and Lochhead.com by Sarah Knox and Jamie J. Show notes by Diane Gervasio. And Candy Dandy keeps the whole thing rolling. The thought I'll leave you with comes from Eleanor Roosevelt, who said, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." All right, please stay healthy, stay legendary, and of course, until we're together again, follow your different.